Hi, my name is Paul Tasker. I'm the Head of Science at Culcheth School. I just wanted to give you a bit of a tour of some of the things that we've been doing whilst we've been using Google during the lockdown period. We've found that Google Classroom has been something that's obviously been an excellent tool for us to communicate with students and share resources. We've used it across the board from year 7 to 11. And in a subject like science, where obviously we're missing a lot of the practical skills and practical work that the students are missing out on, we've been able to use video clips that we've recorded ourselves using Screencastify in order to actually communicate with the students and at least bridge some of the gaps that some of the students might have from not actually being in the classroom. So the way that we've used our work, we've tried to be consistent across the board with regards to year 7 to 11. So on each lesson that is produced, you can see that we actually use a title which tells the student that it's remote learning. It gives the students the date, and then it gives a title for the particular lesson that they're doing. Then we try and give them really sort of comprehensive instructions for what they need to do for the lesson. It's a little bit overstated at times, but we want to make sure that the students know exactly what it is that they've got to do during the lesson. The one good thing about the Google Classroom is that obviously within the text for the lesson, you can actually drop in some of the links for different video clips to outside websites, like for example YouTube and some of the other websites like BBC Bitesize as well, that are really useful for the students to actually access. And anything like that can just enhance the learning experience for the students is really good to allow them to still make some progress while they're at home. So on this one example, this is a year 7 lesson and the students are being introduced to lab skills. Now, ordinarily in the classroom, we would have all the equipment out. The students would be trying to name some of those different pieces of lab equipment, and they would be then learning how to draw scientific diagrams of those pieces of equipment. Now, obviously that's not possible at the moment. So we've actually used a video in order to actually try and do that. So one of my colleagues recorded a video for this lesson, and the idea is that the students would click on the video at the bottom, and then the video would open up, and the video actually then shows what's actually happening. I'm just going to play a little bit of it just so that you can get a feel for the type of video that we're doing. It does take the role of the lesson, so it's almost as if the teacher is there and actually giving direct instructions to the students. So I'll just play that for a second.
Good morning everyone, welcome to our first lesson in chemistry. We're looking at practical equipment. So I know that you haven't been able to do any practical work in school, but we want you to have an understanding of what some equipment might be used for in science and to recognise it when we do get to competence laboratory. So I want you to start off by writing the date and the title into your Markbook document or on a piece of paper, and I want you to quickly note down any pieces of equipment that is used in science.
Okay, so the video then obviously gets paused at certain times by the students, and then they can do the work, and then the teacher will then give feedback and give some of the answers to what the student should have been looking for. After this, we've done numerous different types of videos. So for example, we've got students at every school are obviously working at different levels and making different levels of progress, and so therefore the videos have actually been a really good way as well for us to actually be able to take a worksheet that the students potentially might not have the reading age to be able to read, and then the teacher can actually read through the worksheet, and then the student can fill in the worksheet while they're actually working from home as well. So again, it takes the sort of the responsibility away from the parent and actually allows the teachers to still be helping the students to read through the content so that the students can access that content. A little bit later on, so within this video, they actually start to look at all the different pieces of equipment. But if I just play it from this point here, it actually starts to bring all of the information together. And again, we can start to think about how that works.
I want you to have a go at drawing this equipment using the line diagrams and using the symbols. So you've got a beaker, so you draw the beaker, it's got the boiling tube inside it. It's sat on a gauze. That's going to be sat on top of the tripod stand.
So again, the students are actually seeing the equipment in real life, and then also being able to to perform the action of drawing the diagrams as well, and doing them with the correct scientific technique. So that's just one way in which we've used the work. Also within this, obviously through Google Classroom, we've been able to upload a range of different resources. And again, because we've got students working at different abilities, within Google Classroom, you have the ability then to actually set work for different students or individual students within the actual group. So a lot of the staff have actually been setting lower ability work for some of our students that need that sort of support and scaffolding. But then for the rest of the class, they've actually had a different worksheet which has been differentiated to allow some students to access some of those higher level skills. And again, that has been a real positive, so because it's allowed all students at home to have bespoke lessons planned for them in order for that they can make progress. The other thing that we've been able to do is we've also used the Markbook for the students as well. And again, this has been a good way of us actually keeping track of the remote learning that's taking place at home. So on the Markbook that you've got here, obviously if it's missing, it means that the student hasn't handed in that particular piece of work. If they get a 1 out of 1, the policy that we took was that basically we just changed the score for the lesson to 1. And if they handed in the work and we could see that they'd actually done the work, then, and it wasn't necessarily really necessary for us to mark it or provide feedback on that piece of work. We just wanted a quick check to see that they'd done it, and obviously they got a score out of 1. And then a little bit further on, the students actually did an assessment piece and handed in their work, and then obviously we were able to grade that and give them a percentage in order to sort of show how they'd done in that lesson. So again, that was really useful as well, because obviously during lockdown, we have now got a record direct from Google Classroom of how the students have done during the remote learning. And it then means that we know where the gaps are, and it also means what we need to go back over with particular students in order to make progress. So I hope that was useful. We've really enjoyed using the Google tools. We've used a wide range of different things, and we've found them really, really useful. And the students, more importantly, have found them really easy to use as well. And I think it's something that we will continue to use even though we're not in lockdown anymore. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I will speak to you soon.